Here's what your cat has been doing every single time you've walked into a room, and most owners spend an entire lifetime never understanding what it actually means. It's not about food or attention or affection in the way people usually define it. It's something much older than all of that, something written into your cat's nervous system before they ever learned your name. And here's the part that will genuinely surprise you. The 5 things cats love most are almost never the 5 things their owners are actually doing. In fact, some of the most devoted cat owners on the planet are accidentally doing the opposite, and their cats have been quietly, patiently signaling them the whole time. Most owners assume that if their cat tolerates them, everything is fine. That if their cat eats the food, uses the litter box, and occasionally sits nearby, the relationship is healthy. But animal behaviorists have been finding something different for decades now. What cats are actually craving from their owners goes deeper than food, deeper than toys, deeper than the standard head scratch. And the gap between what owners offer and what cats are genuinely longing for, that gap is exactly where most of the distance, anxiety, and quiet frustration in cat-human relationships silently lives. Most owners go their cat's entire life without ever closing that gap. And the hardest part is that their cats never stop trying to bridge it. Before we get into these 5 things, there's something I want to plant in the back of your mind right now. We're going to get to one thing later in this video, something that connects directly to every single play session you've ever had with your cat. And when you fully understand it, you'll probably look back at years of interactions and see them completely differently. Keep that in the back of your mind as we go through these. It builds. 1. Sitting on the floor. Here's what most people don't realize. Your cat's nervous system was not built for the environment you live in together. It was built to survive a world where size means danger. In the wild, any creature significantly larger than a cat looming overhead, making direct eye contact, moving unpredictably from above, is almost always a predator. That instinct does not disappear just because your cat lives in a warm apartment and eats from a ceramic bowl. It lives in the base of their skull. It runs in the background like software that never fully shuts off, no matter how safe their life actually is. So here's what is happening every single time you stand above your cat, even with complete love and kindness in your heart. To your cat's nervous system, something large is overhead, something that could reach down, something whose movements are unpredictable from below. And their body's registering that information not because they think you're dangerous, not because they don't love you, but because 40 million years of survival wiring is still competing with 4,000 years of domestication. And the survival wiring runs considerably deeper. Most owners go their cat's entire life never thinking about this once. They wonder why their cat seems cautious, or keeps a slight distance, or watches them from across the room instead of coming close. And sometimes the answer is as simple as where you are physically positioned in space. The moment you sit on the floor, something shifts. You are no longer overhead. You are no longer looming. You have brought yourself down to a level where, in cat language, you have communicated something enormous without saying a single word. I am not a threat. Think about that for a second. No food offered, no toys, no calling them over, just your body lower in the room, and your cat's nervous system begins to respond. A 2019 behavioral study from the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna found that cats in homes where owners regularly engaged at floor level showed significantly lower stress indicators, including lower cortisol levels, more voluntary social initiation, and more sustained physical contact. Not because owners were doing something elaborate or dramatic, because they were simply making themselves physically smaller and less threatening. To your cat, this is not just comfort, it is permission. Permission to close the distance they have been calculating across every room you've shared together. And here's the emotional weight of what you may have been missing without knowing it. Every time your cat has sat at a cautious distance and watched you, they may not have been ignoring you. They may have been waiting for a signal that it was safe to come closer. The floor is that signal. Sit there with no agenda, no reaching out, no calling them, no expectations. Let them sniff you, walk around you, decide on their own terms. A cat that approaches you voluntarily has just trusted you with something that took them real effort to give, and it started with where you placed your body. In a moment, I'm going to tell you about something that goes even deeper, something that involves the actual biology of trust in a cat's brain, and a specific behavior that slowly rewires how they see you at a fundamental level. But first, 2. Talking to your cat in short, soft phrases. Here's what most people don't realize. Your cat is not ignoring you when you talk to them. They are interpreting you. Every word you say is being filtered through a system designed to read energy, rhythm, and tonal pattern, not vocabulary. Your cat is not processing your sentences. They are reading the emotional weather of your voice. And most human voices, in their natural conversational state, are doing something that registers as unsettling. Long, rapid sentences carry unpredictable rhythm. Loud voices, sharp consonants, the natural cadence of human speech when we are excited or stressed, all of that pattern matches, on a neurological level, to the kinds of sounds that signal alarm in the natural world. Not deliberately, not consciously on your cat's part, but at the level of the nervous system, your cat's ears are constantly sorting incoming sound into 2 categories, safe and uncertain. And a great deal of ordinary human conversation lands on the uncertain side of that line. Short, soft phrases do something completely different. They slow the vocal pattern down. They lower the pitch. They introduce rhythm and repetition. And here's what makes this even more fascinating. Cats themselves communicate in short, soft vocalizations. They do not meow in paragraphs. A cat speaking to another cat or to a human they feel safe with produces brief sounds, single syllables, quiet trills, gentle chirps. The shortness and softness are not incidental. They are part of the meaning itself. That is how safety sounds in cat language. That is what safe communication feels like from the inside. When you begin shortening your phrases and softening your voice with your cat, not baby talk necessarily, just calmer and more deliberate, you are borrowing the acoustic structure of their own language. And they feel it, not as something they consciously analyze, as something that simply lands differently in their body, something that shifts the room from uncertain to safe. Most owners who feel like their cat ignores them are talking too much and too loudly. The moment they reduce that to 2 or 3 quiet words, spoken slowly with space between them, their cat turns around, makes eye contact, sometimes vocalizes back, because something that felt unpredictable just became something familiar. And in the world of a cat, familiarity is not just comfort, it is the beginning of trust. Stay with me, because what comes next is the one that most owners have genuinely never considered, and the science behind what it does to your cat's brain is remarkable. 3. Offering food from your hand. You already feed your cat every single day. You buy the good food, you keep the bowl clean, you feed them on a consistent schedule, and your cat is grateful for that, in the way cats are grateful practically, functionally. But here is what most owners don't realize. Placing a bowl on the floor and offering food from your open palm are 2 completely different neurological events for your cat. One is maintenance. The other is something ancient. When a cat eats from a bowl, the brain registers, food is here. When a cat eats from your hand, something much older activates. Because in the natural world, a cat that takes food directly from another living creature is not just eating. They are choosing to be vulnerable in one of the most primal moments that exists. They are making a calculation with every instinct available to them that this creature will not harm them while they are focused on eating. That is not a small thing. That is one of the deepest trust assessments a cat's brain is capable of making, and they are making it in your favor. A 2017 study published in the journal Animal Cognition found that hand-fed cats demonstrated measurably higher approach behavior toward their owners, increased sustained eye contact, and significantly greater tolerance for physical proximity compared to cats fed exclusively from bowls over the same period. The researchers describe the effect as a proximity bond, a neurological association between the owner and the concept of safe physical closeness. Not just food, closeness itself. Your hand becomes a thing that means safety. You do not need to do this at every meal. Even once or twice a week, a few pieces of kibble, a small treat held flat on your open palm, is enough to slowly, consistently build something that standard ball feeding never reaches. To your cat, this is not a trick and it is not training. It is something closer to a declaration. Every time they lower their head to eat from your hand, they are choosing you. They are choosing to be close to something large and unpredictable at their most vulnerable moment. And they are doing it because you have become, to them, something worth trusting. And hey, if this is shifting how you see your cat right now, hit subscribe. It helps other cat owners find this content and understand what their cats have been trying to tell them. There's a lot more coming. Now I want to come back to what I planted at the beginning, about the one thing that connects to every play session you have ever had with your cat. We are almost there. But first, I want you to hold a specific image in your mind as we move into the next section. Think about the last time you played with your cat. You brought out the wand toy, or the feather, or whatever it is they respond to. Their pupils went wide, their body dropped low. That whole body shift happened where you could almost feel them become a different creature, focused, alive, electric with something old. You moved the toy, they chased it, maybe they swiped at it once or twice. And then after 2 or 3 minutes, they just walked away. And you thought, strange, maybe they are bored, maybe they are just being a cat. You put the toy down, and your cat settled somewhere across the room with that expression that is hard to read. Little flat, little restless. Maybe they knocked something off a shelf later. Maybe they bit your ankle at an unexpected moment, and you wondered what was going on. That scenario, that specific sequence, is what the next 2 sections are about. And once you understand what is actually happening inside your cat during those moments, you will never see a play session the same way again. 4. Completing the hunt. Your cat did not walk away from that play session because they were bored. They walked away because they were neurologically unsatisfied. And those are completely different states with completely different consequences. In the wild, cats do not simply chase. They hunt. And a hunt has a structure that is as fixed and non-negotiable as breeding. Stalk, rush, catch, kill. Every single step in that sequence serves a specific purpose in the nervous system. The stalk builds tension and primes the body. The rush burns cortisol and engages the full motor system. The catch triggers a release of dopamine, the brain's signal for reward and completion. And the kill, the bite, the grip, the back leg kick, the moment the prey goes still, that is the step that tells the nervous system the event is over, that the cycle is complete, that the body can come down. When you pull the toy away, every time your cat reaches it, you're removing the one step that closes the loop. The catch never happens. The nervous system waits for the signal that the hunt is finished, and that signal never comes. The cortisol builds and never fully discharges. The dopamine release never lands. And over time, in a home where this happens every day, in every play session, for months or years, that unresolved physiological state has to go somewhere. According to research from the International Society of Feline Medicine, chronic play frustration, the persistent failure to complete the hunt cycle, is one of the leading behavioral contributors to redirected aggression in domestic cats. That bite on your ankle, that swat at your hand when you weren't expecting it, that restlessness at 3 a.m. that seems to come from nowhere. In many cases, it is not your cat being difficult or unpredictable. It is your cat's nervous system trying to finish something that you accidentally, unknowingly, with complete good intentions, left permanently open. To your cat, an incomplete hunt is not just a disappointing game. It is a physiological state their body was never designed to remain in. Every session that ends with a toy yanked away is another layer of that unresolved tension, adding to what is already there. And most owners do this every single time they play. Their cats play daily and are never once satisfied. And the cats cannot explain that. They just live in the low hum of unresolved instinct, session after session, year after year, waiting for someone to let them finish. Here is what you do differently. You let the catch happen. In the last 30 seconds of a play session, you slow the toy down, not to tease, but to mimic wounded prey. You let the toy move erratically, unpredictably, with decreasing energy. And then you let your cat have it. Let them grab it. Let them bite down on it. Let them kick it with their back legs. Let them hold it still. and then you stop moving the toy entirely. You leave it in their grip. Still. Done. That stillness is the signal the nervous system has been waiting for. The hunt is complete. Cortisol drops. Dopamine lands. And your cat walks away from the session with a quality of calm that truncated play never produces, a grounded, settled, physically resolved calm that you will recognize immediately the first time you see it. And here is what makes this more than a play technique. When your cat's brain begins to associate you with the completion of the hunt, when you become the one who reliably provides the full cycle, the rush, the cache, the resolution, you become something different to them. Not just the person who holds the toy, the person who understands what they are, the person who respects the nature they were born with and gives it somewhere real to land. In cat psychology, a companion that consistently brings satisfaction to the hunt cycle activates a bond response that casual play never reaches. You are not just a playmate. You are safe. You are trusted. You are worth staying close to. Remember earlier when I said there was one thing most owners wish they had understood sooner? This is it. Not because it is the most surprising fact about cats, but because it is the thing that quietly explains almost everything: the aggression, the restlessness, the distance, the behavior that seems random and is not random at all. Your cat is not broken. They are unfinished. And you are the one who can finish it for them. 5. Scratching the places they cannot reach alone. This last one seems simple, but once you understand what is actually happening in your cat's brain when you find the right places, you will realize you have just been given access to something they do not offer freely. Cats are meticulous, thorough groomers. They can reach almost every part of their own body with ease, but there are a handful of places they genuinely cannot get to alone. The base of the skull, just above the collar line. The spot at the very end of the spine, where the tail begins. The patch just behind the whiskers. On the cheek, where the jawbone curves outward. The point under the chin, where the jaw meets the neck. These are not just sensitive spots. They are the precise locations where another cat would groom as an act of social bonding. In a multi-cat household, mutual grooming of these specific areas is one of the clearest signals of trust and closeness that exists between cats. It is not casual contact. It is intimacy. It is a declaration that the other animal is not a threat, but a companion. When you find these spots and scratch them well, you will know immediately that you have found them. The eyes go half closed or fully closed. The head leans into your hand with steady pressure. Sometimes the chin lifts, exposing the throat, which is, in the language of animal behavior, one of the most vulnerable gestures a prey animal can make toward another creature. They are showing you their throat. They are choosing, consciously and deliberately, to expose the most vulnerable part of their body to something larger than them. Think about what that means. Think about what they are telling you in that moment. A 2015 study from the University of Southampton found that cats showed significantly more affiliative behaviors, including head bunting, sustained purring, kneading, and prolonged voluntary proximity following grooming contact at these specific anatomical locations, compared to contact at other areas of the body. It is not simply that it feels pleasurable. It is that it activates the neurological pathways associated with social bonding in cats, the same pathways activated by contact with a trusted companion of their own species. You are not just scratching an itch. You are speaking fluently in a language they share only with the ones they love. Most owners scratch the top of the head, behind the ears, along the spine, and their cat tolerates it. But tolerating and trusting are not the same thing, and most owners never feel the difference because they never find the spots that cross that line. They pet their cat the same way, in the same places, for the entire span of that cat's life. And their cat remains just slightly out of reach, not hostile, not unhappy exactly, but never fully arrived, never fully close. The base of the skull, just behind the whiskers. The underside of the chin, the base of the tail. Find those places. Give them time and patience. And when your cat closes their eyes and leans in and goes still, that is not just enjoyment. That is your cat choosing to be known by you. And most owners never get there. Your cat has been speaking to you the whole time. in the way they calculate the distance across every room, in the way something in their body shifts when your voice goes quiet and soft, in the way they wash the toy with everything they have and then walk away unfinished, carrying something they cannot put down, in the way they expose their throat when your hand finally finds the place they cannot reach alone. They have been trying to tell you what they need in the only language they have ever had. 5 things. 5 small shifts in how you show up in their world. And the cat sitting somewhere in your home right now watching you, waiting, hoping, has been waiting for exactly this, is less than, S is greater than.